Hello everybody, and welcome back to MoodTube. I'm your host, Paul Malamud. The NFL continues to be as difficult to predict on a week-to-week basis as the Wild Wild West. I went 12-3 in my straight pick'em pool, but unfortunately, I wasn't so lucky against the spread. With the exception of the Jets game, I had every winning team right, but some spreads I picked too high, like the Broncos and the Seahawks, and some I picked too low, like the Cowboys. On a positive note, I won my Bet Moody game against Cardinals fan Tyler Kinnerup, and am now 4-1 so far this season. I also predicted correctly that Matt Stafford was going to have a great game. Depending on your league scoring rules, he put up around 26 points. Before we get into Week 7 of the NFL, I want to talk a little bit about the baseball playoffs. We are in the middle of two great league championship series. Both series seem to be on a roller coaster track where we don't know what to expect next. In the ALCS, we go from the Red Sox almost getting no hit on Saturday night to one of the most dramatic comebacks in recent playoff history. Then, Tigers ace Justin Verlander threw a complete gem, only to lose it 1-0. Last night, the Tigers came out and wiped the floor with the Sox face. So with 4 games down and 3 to go, the series is all knotted up at 2. I think that the Tigers need to win Game 5 in Detroit and Game 6 in Boston to be able to win the series. I find it hard to believe that the Sox would lose at Game 7 at Fenway Park. Luckily for the Tigers, Verlander will probably be pitching Game 6. He has been unreal so far this postseason, but his efforts haven't resulted in the wins that they should have. In his 3 games, he has given up only 1 run in 23 innings, but his team has only gotten 1 win. I find it hard to believe that they can continue to squander another gem by Verlander, so we'll see what happens. In the NLCS, the Dodgers went down 2-0, and after 3 games in LA, they're headed back to St. Louis down 3-2, needing to win 2 more consecutive elimination games to advance the World Series. Luckily for the Dodgers, the soon-to-be-named NL Cy Young Clayton Kershaw is taking the mound in Game 6. I think the Dodgers are going to win that game, and it's all going to come down to Game 7, and you never know what's going to happen. Now back to football. We all know what the big story of Week 7 is. It's Peyton Manning heading back to Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis for the first time as an opposing player. While the Colts are set to honor their former quarterback, Jim Irsay threw some wood on the fire by saying that they had to change their organizational philosophy because they are disappointed only winning 1 Super Bowl in the Manning era, and with so many first-round playoff exits that they had. Both are very true statements, and they've done a good job of changing their philosophy, and I don't think they are actually jabs at Peyton Manning, but this is the wrong week for Irsay to be mentioning the words disappointment and Manning even close to being in the same sense. I think Payne is going to show the Colts' young stud QB how it's done. I think Luck will be able to keep it close for most of the game, but Payne is going to pull away in the end. This week, there are 2 great rivalry games, the Ravens-Steelers and the Jets-Patriots. The Steelers are coming off their first win of the season against the Jets and are playing home. With Heath Miller back and the fans at Heinz Field behind them, will they be able to pull off another win against their division rivals? The Ravens are 3-3 and are trying to keep pace with the division-leading Bengals. And after a tough home loss to the Packers, they are sure to come out firing in a divisional matchup on the road. The matchups for you to pay attention to this week are Torrey Smith versus Ike Taylor, Ray Rice versus Steelers front 7, and how will the Ravens safeties fare playing against Heath Miller for the first time without Ed Reed in Ravens purple. As for the Jets-Pats game, it's a rivalry week, which means I mean business. The Jets should have won the Week 2 Thursday night game, but Marty Mornhinweg put too much pressure on Geno in the rain in Foxborough, and he ended up throwing 3 fourth-quarter picks. Tom Brady struggled like fans have never seen before. He was visibly frustrated, yelling at his young wide receivers. If they can continue to disrupt him, things will be good for the Jets. The Patriots are 5-1 right now, but let's be honest, it's not because of Brady. Sure, he had a truly great game-winning drive last week, but Aqib Talib is a real reason the Pats are 5-1. He is playing like the best cornerback in the league, shutting down each team's best weapon every week. Him shutting down Jimmy Graham is the real reason the Pats were able to win last week. Unfortunately for the Pats, I think Marty is going to allow the Jets' run game to do its job. Until they abandoned the run in the fourth quarter, Chris Ivory was abusing the Patriots' front seven. And that was when they had Vince Wilfork and Jerod Mayo. I think Chris Ivory is going to be in for a big week. Nick Mangold is going to abuse the young Joe Villano. If Gronk comes back, it may be a different story, but either way, I don't care. I think the Jets are taking this one at home. Now for this week's Ask Moody. The Eagles' quarterback decision was a popular topic, with Eagles fans Marky I and Jules Canuso sending in questions. Mark asked, Mood, if you were Chip Kelly and Michael Vick is 100%, do you start Vick or Foles? And Jules asked, concerning the quarterback debate, who do you feel is best fit to run Chip Kelly's fast-paced offense, Nick or Vick? And more specifically, is having a pass-efficient quarterback more valuable than having a dual-threat QB in the NFL today? Explain. Well, first off, I've got to say that if it was me, I would be starting Foles if Vick is healthy. In 2 games, Foles has thrown 6 touchdown passes to Vick's 5 through 4.5. His passer rating is also 37.3 points higher than Vick's. And most importantly, he has 0 turnovers to Vick's 3. And as for Jules' question, I think that Foles is the answer. And I think that in terms of a pass-efficient quarterback versus a dual threat, it depends on the system and the plays you have. I think Foles is great for this system because they don't need him to run the ball. That's what they have Shady McCoy for. And he keeps control of the ball and he doesn't turn over. He's playing great, and I think he's the one who should be starting. But it's not up to me, and I have a feeling that Chip Kelly's going to be starting Vick if he's healthy. Our next question comes from Jack Clark, and it is, do you think that Josh Freeman is a good fit in Minnesota? If yes, when do you think he'll be able to gel in with the offense? Well, we're going to find out this week because Freeman's going to be getting the start against the Giants on Monday night. I think he could be a good fit for Minnesota. We need to realize that he's been a good quarterback in this league before. He struggled at times last year. He is great at times, but he's very consistent and has some awful games. This year, it was just the cards were stacked up against him. It seemed like Schiano didn't want him to be the quarterback from the start. With a questionable vote for team captain and him not making it, it seems like Schiano wanted to go a different way. I think that the shift to Minnesota could be a great change of scenery for Josh Freeman. He's got a great running game in Adrian Peterson, and he's got weapons in the passing game that I think he can use to his benefit. It's going to take a couple weeks for him to really get things going, but I think this could work out great for both the Vikings and for Josh Freeman. And now, the Texans quarterback situation was another popular topic, with Tom Horgan and Jack Clark sending in questions. Jack asked, what do you think about Vince Young tweeting at the Texans asking for a tryout? Does he deserve to be in the NFL? Well, I've got no problem with him tweeting it. He's out of the league. He's trying to get himself back in. And obviously the Texans are struggling. Their fans want, at their quarterback situation, and their fans want somebody else. Vince Young has done well early in his career, and he's failed to stay with both the Eagles and the Bills the past couple of years. But who knows? In a situation like with Houston, where he's got a great running game and he's got some dynamic weapons in the passing game with Andre Johnson and the young rookie DeAndre Hopkins, who knows? He might be able to do well. I think it's worth a shot, and we'll see what happens. And now, Tom asked, due to Matt Schaub's and the Texans' pick six extravaganza, would you be willing to pick 6 things to bet until they don't throw a pick 6? Such as, I won't eat wings until a game without a pick 6. I will only wear 1 pair of boxers. And I will only root for the Cowboys, etc., etc. Well, I don't see any way that the Texans can continue to throw pick 6s every week like they have been. I don't know if it's going to be Schaub or Yates getting the start this week, but they're playing the Chiefs, who seem to be scoring defensive touchdowns every week. Now, I don't think it's going to continue much longer, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's another pick 6 with the opportunistic defense that the Chiefs are playing under Bob Sutton. But, just for you, Tom, I'll give my own pick 6. Until the Texans go a game without a pick 6, I'll give up these 6 things that I love. First off, I'm giving up bacon. Enough said, everybody loves bacon. It's possibly the best food. Second, I'm going to give up hamburgers. I love hamburgers. Who in America doesn't love hamburgers? But I'm giving them up until the Texans stop throwing a pick six. Third, I'm going to give up pasta. Pasta is the biggest staple of my diet. I could eat it every day of the week for the rest of my life. Number 4, I'm giving up ginger ale. Anybody who knows me knows that I love ginger ale to the point that I might as well be the spokesperson for Canada Dry. 5th, I'm giving up cigars. I love smoking cigars on a nice day, a cold day, after a win, before a win, to get yourself over a loss. Cigars are great. It's a great way to relax. I'm giving them up until the Texans stop throwing a pick six. And lastly, I'm going to take one of Tom's suggestions and I'm going to do one further. Until the Texans stop giving a pick six, I'm giving up underwear altogether. That's right, Texans quarterbacks. Until you stop this streak, in the words of Tom Petty, I'm going to be free. Free ballin', yeah. Well, I guess those aren't the real words, but you get the point. That's it for this week's Ask Moody. If you have any questions you want answered, make sure to send them in to moodsportstips@gmail.com. Again, that's moodsportstips@gmail.com. Now, as you see, again, I've got these awesome American flag shorts up behind me. They're incredible gym shorts. Not only are you a Patriot and everybody's going to know it if you're wearing them, but they're comfortable, they're lightweight, and most importantly, they've got pockets. Any guy knows that you need some gym shorts with pockets. I'm selling these shorts for my dear friend who's off at boot camp. So he's a Navy man, and he comes from a Navy family with a Navy SEAL in his family. The profits go to support our military services, so help out. Right now they're going for $35 a pair, but contact me at Mood Sports Tips, and we'll see what we can work out. Now, for this week's favorable fantasy matchups. As always, this segment is brought to you by GTS Clothing. Well, for everyone who listened to me and picked up Mike Goodson, it's time to drop him. He got injured last week against the Steelers and is going to be out for the rest of the season. It's a shame because he was looking like he was going to be a big part of the Jets' offense moving forward. Now, for this week's matchups that I like. At quarterback, I love Tony Romo this week. He had a down week against following that epic performance against the Broncos when he only put up 9 and change points against the Redskins. But I think he's going to get back on track and put up big numbers against the Eagles' horrible pass defense. I'm looking for Romo to put up at least 20 points. Another quarterback I like is Andy Dalton. I think the Bengals QB is going to be in for a big week against the Lions defense. AJ Green will likely be finding his way into the end zone multiple times. And if you're really in need of a receiver this week, Marvin Jones could be a good pickup and play. He's listed as 3rd on the Bengals depth chart, but he has 2 touchdowns to Mohamed Sanu's 0. And Sanu's listed above him. Plus, he wears number 82. Anybody who knows me knows I've got a soft spot in my heart for anyone wearing the best football number around. At running back, I like Ryan Matthews. He looked good against the Colts, and I think he's going to keep that momentum rolling against the Jags. Danny Woodhead is also still going to keep getting his touches, and he's likely to put up points. So if you've got a Chargers running back, it's a smart play this week against the Jags. Sticking in the Chargers-Jags game, at wide receiver, I like Justin Blackmon. Since he's come back, he's been a top 3 fantasy wide receiver. I think he's going to keep that rolling against a bad Chargers secondary. Now, at tight end, I'm going with Jordan Cameron. Following 2 down weeks, I think Cameron's going to be finding his way back into the end zone and finding himself having a fantasy rebound week against a Packers secondary that's giving up the 4th most points to tight ends this season. This is also a good point for me to bring up a great YouTube video. If you haven't seen it, you've got to search Blake Griffin, Jordan Cameron in your search engine, or you can just click on the link that I'm going to put in this info section of the video. It's pretty awesome and it's hysterical. Now, for my Week 7 picks. The first game I'm going with is the Chiefs giving up 6 points over the Texans, playing at home against Kansas City. The Chiefs are looking great. They continue to play great defense, and Alex Smith is playing smart, heads-up ball, and he's not making mistakes. Jamal Charles is going to do work, and like I said, there's still a good chance that there's going to be another pick 6 by the Chiefs. Against the Texans. For my sake, I hope they don't. I'm taking the Chiefs, giving up 6 points at home. The next game I'm going with is the Cowboys getting 2.5 on the road against the Eagles. I understand that they're tied right now for first place in the division, but I just think the Cowboys are a better team, especially with them getting 2.5 points. I think they're going to come out and win this game outright, but even on the road in Philadelphia, a tough place to play with their fans, I'm taking the Cowboys on the road getting 2.5 points. The third game I'm taking is the Rams getting 6.5 over the Panthers in Carolina. The Panthers looked great last week against the Vikings, but that's the Vikings. The Rams looked great against the Texans, and it's not just their first good performance. I think that the Rams may not win this game, but them getting 6.5 points on the road against the Panthers, I've got to take it. I'm going the Rams getting 6.5 points. The next game is the 49ers giving up 4 points over the Titans in Tennessee. I think the 49ers are looking great. The Titans covered their spread even though they lost to the Seahawks last week, but I don't think that's going to be the case this week. The Titans are susceptible again to having the ball run against them, and the 49ers, ever since I told them to following their loss to the Colts, have gone back to their hard-nosed, smash-mouth football, run the ball down your throat ways. I think they're going to keep doing it, and another fantasy tidbit, play Frank Gore. I mean, he's going to be played every week, but play Frank Gore. I'm taking the 49ers, giving up 4 points on the road in Tennessee. And the last game I'm going with is the Bears in a straight pick'em over the Redskins in Washington. I understand that this could be the week that RG3 finally puts it all together. Every single week we're going to be waiting for it to happen. It's bound to happen eventually, but the Bears are just a better team than the Redskins. They're going to win this. I think there's going to be a good game by the Bears offense, and I think the Bears defense is going to be able to do enough to stop the Redskins. In a pick'em game, I'm going the Bears all the way. Now, for this week's Bet Moody. As I said earlier, I advanced to 4-1 in my Bet Moody games with the help of the 49ers, leading me to victory over Cardinals fan Tyler Kinnerup. And for all of your sakes, you don't have to listen to me saying I love Arizona this week. I'm going to put my faith in my Jets, and I'm betting against the Pats fan, Sean Klugenon. I know Gang Green is going to get the W, but if by some chance they don't, I will have to attempt the Cinnamon Challenge during next week's episode. For those of you who don't know, that is trying to eat a tablespoon of cinnamon in under a minute without drinking any water. That's it for this week's MoodTube. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you all next week. But in the meantime, don't forget to check out the tube, because you got to see Mood.